Good evening and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean, and here's some of the stories we're working on tonight. The tragic loss of a carnival queen. A St. Croix man is arrested on kidnapping charges, and trouble on the dance floor in St. John. These stories are coming up next on News Channel 8. In our top story tonight, the entire Virgin Islands is mourning as we have lost a carnival queen. 18-year-old Karen Acosta died early this morning in a single-car crash on St. Thomas. Karen had just graduated a few hours before the fatal crash, and she was just crowned Carnival Queen in April. News Channel 8's Lee Carl files this tragic report.
What a joyous time for the Charlotte High School class of 2009. Governor, Lieutenant Governor, the Commissioner, and everyone shaking their hands at the Sports and Fitness Center. But that moment changed with this announcement by Superintendent Berry about the passing of one of the students, a top student, a Carnival Queen, who passed away in a car crash.
At this point, we just learned early this morning that there was a tragic accident involving our 2009 graduate, our Carnival Queen, Karen Acosta. And at this point, I don't have all the details, but I do know, as tragic as this is, it must truly be a traumatic situation for a class of 2009. And so we are calling them all together at the school's auditorium this morning for 10 a.m. and asking that our social workers and community service providers come to the school at 10 o'clock to provide the necessary counseling for the class of 2009.
Many things in life that are unexplainable. And I think a day like today is a day that is probably one of those things. And I think about.
And here is the governor offering words of solace at the shelter.
When we were all experiencing the joy of the celebration of Charlotte Amalie School, but also the fact that you're champions, and also having an opportunity to witness the talent that we saw yesterday. And I remember when I made my remarks, I said one sentence in particular, not in recognition of the future, but more because of the year that we've had that's been so challenging to many of us. And I said that bad things happen to good people, whether through accidents or tragedy. And that was more in line of what you guys have probably been through all year with what's happened in our community. And I know today is a day that none of us expected to be here doing this, but it tells us more than anything else that there's a force stronger than us, there's a force more powerful than us, and that force has a plan for us. By no stretch of the imagination could we ever intellectually be able to say why someone so talented, so gifted was taken from us. It's unexplainable. Other than if you have your belief in God, then you will find comfort. There is no way to explain to you why today you have to be feeling what you're feeling, other than for you to recognize that every day that you wake up and when you go to sleep, that your life is much more precious than what you take for granted it is wrong, and that you need to cherish it. And regardless of what each of us are feeling, and believe me, we're all feeling it, we at the same time have to be able to understand it to the best that we can, but also recognize that she has a family that we have to be strong for. And no matter what we feel, imagine what they feel for such a young person with such great potential. So I would ask you that as you begin to go through the emotions that you're feeling, for the anger, for the hurt, understand that God always has a bigger plan for all of us than we ever will realize. And we need to accept that. And as we go through and feel it at the same time, we have to understand that she has a family that's going to count on you, count on this school, and count on this community to rally behind them and hold them up as they're feeling their pain.
And in other news, a man is in critical condition this evening after he was shot in an apparent robbery. The incident happened in the Estate 22 section of St. Thomas. News Channel 8's Lee Carl again gives us more.
We're outside 22 Park Mall where a shooting incident took place yesterday. And the information here was kind of sketchy at the beginning, but we found out that it was a man, the husband of the woman who owns BI Bridal and Tuxedo Gifts here at 22 Park Mall. They had left the store on the way to a car here in the parking lot when apparently two persons accosted them. One of them tried to grab a bag, probably got it, and fired at the man. He's in the hospital in critical condition, actually after being treated at surgery. I was fortunate to be able to speak to Miss Oliver, that's her name, and his name is Oliver. They had been planning to go to the Montserrat occasion on a Saturday night at Victor's, but couldn't make it because she spent the night at the hospital with her husband. She was distraught as I spoke to her on the telephone this morning.
I would willingly give up to $300 just for the return of my bag and the documents to VI Bridal and Tuxedo Center in 22 Park Mall. I really need that bag. I really need the documents.
Miss Oliver,
lots of important documents.
Miss Oliver, you and your husband were going to the Montserrat event. Is that correct? And apparently you're not able to make that because of this incident that took place. About what time did that take place?
It was between 9:30 and maybe 9:40, someplace between there.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen in your store. It was outside.
No,
right?
It didn't happen. We were going to our vehicle. Mm-hmm. When someone came up and instead of asking for the bag and taking what they want, they just shot my husband from about 10 feet and then took. And it was such a disaster. I cannot imagine in this. These people do these things. Take what you want and go, but please, folks, leave the alone. We are hard workers and we don't want to do any harm or anything to anyone. Just take what you want and go. They did not have to shoot my husband. Mm-hmm. We had a 4-hour operation at the hospital. I slept here last night and it's very disheartening.
How is he, Cheryl, how is he doing? How is he doing?
They said that he's stable and they feel that he's going to pull through, but it's very critical and it's very serious.
Investigation underway. Anyone with any information on these two people who accosted the person, and if anyone who finds the black briefcase that has private papers, call the regular police numbers or 911. In St. Thomas at 22 Park Mall, Lee Carl.